Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Monday. Welcome back from the weekend. Hope it was a great one for each and every one of you. And thanks for being with us. We're here for the next 2 hours on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com. And in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, also on your mobile device on the MSC Radio app. However, wherever, whenever you are joining the program today, thank you so much for being a part of 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuy will be along in the 4 o'clock hour. Only 2 hours of sports talk today and for the next 2 after this, because the Royals are on the road on the East Coast. Game 1 of a 4-game series tonight in Tampa Bay, back at the renovated Tropicana Field as the Royals take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Michael Wacha, Drew Rasmussen, the starting pitchers scheduled for tonight's contest. A 5:40 first pitch from the Trop. Pregame coverage starting right at 5 right here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. So we'll break away earlier than usual for some Royals baseball today, which means we only got 2 hours to do what we usually do in 3 here every day on 580 Sports Talk. And on a Monday, that means recapping the weekend. It was a good weekend for the Royals in the sense that they won their series with the Cardinals, took 2 out of 3, split the season series with their I-70 interstate rivals. The bad news was they could not finish the sweep. They had the opportunity to do that yesterday and scored 10 runs, and that wasn't enough. Stephen Kolek got bombed, and a 9th-inning rally fell short as the Royals dropped yesterday's finale by a 12-10 final score. You certainly got your money's worth if you attended for Father's Day festivities. Even if you did not see a Royals win, you saw plenty of fireworks. So the Royals win the series, and you can see the next good Royals team taking shape every single day here in this month of June. This is not it, unfortunately. The 2026 Royals are not, unfortunately, the next good Royals team. But you don't have to squint too far into the horizon to see the next one. And it's because of what the young guys are doing, in particular at the dish. It's amazing to think that we'd be in mid-June of 2026, and we'd be thinking, number one, that the Royals were out of it in 2026, which I still believe that they are, even though, again, nobody's equipped to run away or win 95 games in the Central, which makes it all the more frustrating that the Royals are as far out of it as they are. But certainly didn't think we'd be sitting here on June 22nd and thinking, boy, Royals got to get that pitching squared away. And feeling good, optimistic about the offense and the state of the offense currently and the state of the offense to come. So we'll talk a little Royals baseball on today's program. Get to some Chiefs as well. Continue our countdown to Chiefs kickoff. 84 days to Chiefs kickoff. And we've got a local interest story, at least greater Kansas City area story regarding the Chiefs at number 84. Get into that later in the show. We'll also talk some football with our NFL insider, Matt Verderame. Mondays with Matt, you know how it goes. We've got that coming up on the program today. So we hope that you will enjoy that. We'll also do a little good, bad, ugly from the weekend that was. We'll look back at the sports weekend because there's a lot to get to when it pertains to the sports weekend. There's the U.S. Open. There's the World Cup. There's what happened today in college basketball. How about that? Seismic news from the college basketball world. Dusty May leaving Michigan to become the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. So it's big NBA news, too, on the eve of the NBA draft. But it is massive news, massive implications for college basketball. As the head coach of the reigning national champs is moving to the NBA. And a familiar name, if you're a Big 12 fan, is set to take over, at least on an interim basis, in Ann Arbor. So we're going to have some thoughts on that as well. So not quite a headline segment, but we'll make room for a World Cup roundup there when we get to that point in the program. Plus a new round of What Is Wrong With You. As I mentioned, good, bad, ugly from the weekend that was. All that fun stuff here today on this edition of 580 Sports Talk. Want to hear from you throughout the program today. The text line is open, 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. You can text the program at any time. You can also reach us via our YouTube chat. If you are watching the program on our YouTube channel today, 580 Sports Talk is the name of the YouTube channel. And look forward to hearing from you as you check back in from the weekend. I've already seen Christopher, Mark H., and Paul in the chat today. Welcome, gentlemen. Look forward to hearing from more of you in that live chat. If you've never been in the live chat, today's a great day to check it out for the first time. Again, the name of the channel is 580 Sports Talk. We are 14 subscribers away from the 1,000 mark. Close enough to taste. Can you get us one step closer today? If you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, today is a good day to do it. Go subscribe at 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. Question of the day today. I'll even throw out a question of the day. It's Monday. Feeling generous. Question of the day today on 580 Sports Talk. Question of the day, simple one. We do the good, the bad, the ugly every Monday on the program. So in that spirit, what was your good from the weekend? What was the best thing that you saw, that you watched, that happened to you? Maybe it was just you had a really nice Father's Day. Maybe it was you enjoyed, you went to the Royals game on Friday night and saw a win. What's the best thing you saw this weekend? What's the best thing that happened to you this weekend? I want to hear. I want to know. I want you to share, and as I do every week on the program. So what was your good from the weekend? Tap in, 785-272-9429. And again, in the live chat on YouTube, 580 Sports Talk. But we began with some baseball. We began with the Kansas City Royals, who again did not win yesterday, but did in the end take 2 out of 3 from the St. Louis Cardinals over the weekend. Friday night's game, another impressive display of Royals offense in a 6-5 victory. A game that did not need to be as close as it was. It was 6-2 going into the ninth, and Matt Stromhausen were able to get out of that mess after Alec Lang allowed a 2-run single. He was able to get the final out, preserve what ended up being a 1-run victory. One of the runs that the Royals had allowed while Seth Lugo was on the mound had been unearned, so it was really a night where the Royals made it a lot harder than it needed to be. Jac Caglianone had homered. The Royals had taken a 6-2 lead in the ninth inning before the unpleasantness. It was a strong outing, if a strange one, for Seth Lugo. Picked up the win, 6 innings, a 2-run ball, only allowed 5 hits and 3 walks, so 8 base runners in 6 innings. Didn't strike anyone out. That's a rarity. You get 6 innings deep as a starting pitcher, and you don't have a single K to your credit. In fact, there were only 2 swings and misses against Seth Lugo in 6 innings of work, which tells you the Cardinals were seeing him just fine, just couldn't do a lot to him. It was a throwback kind of baseball game. If you like baseball action, you saw a lot of it. You saw a lot of balls in play on Friday night at the K. There were a combined 4 strikeouts. And that's sort of how those lineups are built, both the Royals and the Cardinals. Like the Royals have guys who, don't chase a lot. We talked about that earlier in the season. We talked about that, in fact, in spring training. The Royals have been really intentional about trying to bring guys into their lineup, whether from the minor leagues or outside the organization, that don't chase the ball out of the zone. And that's where you get most of your strikeouts, right? Guys are good, generally speaking. Big leaguers are good at making contact in the strike zone. It's when you're tempted to swing at pitches that aren't in the strike zone, that's when you mark the K in your scorecard and the other guy drags his bat back to the dugout. Anyhow, both of these lineups, the Royals and the Cardinals, have guys who do a pretty good job avoiding the K. And that was certainly the case on Friday night in a really strange way, a really unique way. Only 1 strikeout for Royals pitchers, and they won the game. Anyway, that guaranteed the series. And then yesterday, Stephen Kolek went out and, to use a technical baseball term, he took a dump on the mound. It was really bad for Stephen Kolek. The old 999 in the line. 9 runs, 9 earned runs, 9 hits, 3 long balls. That's the downside of a guy like Stephen Kolek, who is not a bat misser even on his best of days, that if he's not missing bats, sometimes it's going to be some loud contact. against Stephen Kolek. That's why he's probably nothing more than a fifth starter type, which it's not bad to be a fifth starter type. Those guys hang around the big leagues for a long time and make a lot of money. And if Stephen Kolek can be that for the low price of pre-arbitration and arbitration salaries for the next 3-4 years, valuable piece for the Royals. But when it goes bad for a guy like him, that's kind of what it looks like. The Cardinals would tack on a big swing against Steven Cruz, who, for all of his improvement since he came back up from the minor leagues, and for all of his ability to miss bats, still a little bit too prone to the long ball. Royals made it interesting, though, which they didn't have much right to do. You consider they were down 9-2 after an inning and a half. They quickly made it 9-6. They were down 12-8 going into the ninth. Scored a pair of runs in the ninth, including a run on one of the best base running plays of Salvador Perez's career. I don't imagine that's a particularly long highlight reel, if you know what I mean. Salvador Perez's best base running plays. You think that's a real long one? That's probably a YouTube short. That's one of those that's in the vertical view and in 20 seconds, and you go to the next one. But a nifty slide by Perez to get around a tag at home plate on a slow dribbler hit by Lane Thomas. That made it 12-10. The Royals had the tying runs on first and second with nobody out against Cardinals closer Riley O'Brien, who had already allowed a home run, hit a batter, allowed a solid single to Massey, and then the fielder's choice. So what did the Royals do? They gave him a free out to settle him down. That was awfully generous of the Royals, don't you think? A free out. Here you go, Riley. Your heart's pumping. You're worried about blowing a 4-run lead. Tying runs are on base. We're going to give you a free out. We're going to give you a free out in front of the 8 and 9 spots in our batting order. We're going to give you a free out in front of Nick Lofton, who, look, he homered yesterday, and the Royals ended up pinch hitting for him anyway, which they probably knew they were going to do when Cameron Meisner went to the plate with runners at first and second and nobody out in the ninth. Well, that's your 8-hole in the order. John Rave obviously has had some nice things happen for him since coming up from AAA, but it's still a guy who just came up from AAA, who'd been in AAA the whole season, and there was probably a reason for that. And then Isaac Collins and his .226 batting average. We're going to give you a free out in front of 2 pretty likely outs, just to settle you down a little bit. And look, it's not Matt Quatraro's fault that John Rave got rung up on a pitch that, if the Royals had still had a challenge left, would have easily been overturned. And it's not Matt Quatraro's fault that Isaac Collins, generally pretty patient sword at the plate, went after the first pitch he saw, a pitch that was away, and ended up grounding into the game-ending double play. You can't put what the players did on Matt Quatraro's shoulders. But you can put that damn bunt on his shoulders. Bunting in front of the 8 and 9 hole hitters. Think about that. Think about what that says. Think about what that does to a pitcher who's come out and immediately been strafed. I mean, Riley O'Brien had barely had a chance to breathe on the mound. Jac Caglianone's first pitch went about 1 billion feet. First pitch, Salvador Perez dotted Salvi. 3 pitches after that, Michael Massey's on base. And Perez going first to third. That was electrifying. 1 pitch after that, it's a 2-run game, and the tying runs are on base. And the crowd is making some noise on a Father's Day afternoon at Kauffman Stadium. Why, oh why, would you settle down the pitcher? Would you allow him breathing space by giving away an out? Why? I don't understand it. You can't make me understand it. I know that there's an old adage in baseball that in the late innings, particularly in the 9th inning, if you are the road team, you play for the lead. And if you are the home team, you play for the tie. Why? Why is that the way it is? Should that be the way it is anymore, especially when you've got the stupid Manfred ghost runner that starts every extra inning? Is it really worth it to play for extra innings anymore? Go try and win the game. Look, Cam Meisner's not like really that good a hitter. He's had a nice little start to life as a Royal, but he's not a guy who is a real threat at the plate. But he runs well enough. He's not an automatic double play, right? And again, the two guys he's hitting in front of is John Rave, who you're going to pinch hit, who is basically the same as Cameron Meisner. Like, oh, good start to his season, but he'd been in AAA all year, and there was probably a reason why they were in AAA all year. And then Isaac Collins and his 220 batting average. You're going to trust those guys because you need two. It's a different thing. It's a totally different thing if it's a one-run game. And that bunt had moved the tying run to third and the winning run into scoring position. In that scenario, I could have been made to understand. Yeah, okay. Now, contact ties the game. And again, they didn't get that contact from John Rave. He got rung up on a bad pitch. The home plate umpire wasn't any good. Players were challenging, and the Royals were out of challenges. Both teams were out of challenges there in the ninth inning. Nothing the Royals could do about that. Except, yeah, I don't know. John Rave's got to put one of the strikes he did get in play. But, okay, if contact ties the game, super. But you need, if you're needing 2 runs, you need a hit. You need a hit or, a wild pitch or error, something along those lines that you can't really account for. But you've still got to get a hit from 8 and 9 in your order. From a guy just up from AAA or a guy hitting 220. Why is that the game you play if you're Matt Quatraro? Why, oh, why is that the decision you make? And the Royals were punished justly because, again, Meisner grounded out, Rave struck out, and then Collins grounded out back to the mound. I don't know why he said he grounded into a double play. That must have been another game I was watching yesterday. I watched a decent amount of sports yesterday. Must have been a different game. But anyway, Collins grounded out. That's true. And that was the ballgame. And that was the outcome the Royals deserved, frankly, for that bunt. Meisner's a strikeout threat, but okay. Then you get a similar situation. You still need both of those runs. You still need a hit. And if you get a hit, that means you're not giving away an out, right? So that inning rolls over, inning continues. You need hits. You cannot afford to give away outs. You've only got 3 of them left. And you need both of those runs. And again, if Meisner were the 9-hole and you're bunting ahead of Carter Jensen, who had homered, and Michael Garcia, who is, an all-star, even though he had a tough day yesterday, 0 for 5, maybe then it's a little bit more defensible. But giving away an out to a rattled relief pitcher with 8 and 9 coming up in the order, bad baseball. And the Royals play too much damn bad baseball. But I don't want to be entirely negative here. I don't, because the Royals did win the series, after all. And they won the series on the back of some really impressive performances from the kiddos, particularly 22-year-old Carter Jensen, 23-year-old Jac Caglianone. Carter, by the way, not 22 much longer. His birthday is July 3rd. Caglianone in the series against the Cardinals had 5 hits, and 4 of them were of the home run variety, and none of them carried with them a shred of doubt. They were all long, long gone. Talk about a young man who's starting to access his power and crush mistakes. Crushing mistakes. That's the difference between what Cags has been and what he can be. He's got the best slugging percentage on the team as of right now. He's surpassed Bobby Witt Jr. He's got a team best 12 home runs. He's got 480 slug. Right now, he looks like the Royals' best hitter. And Carter Jensen, he had a nice weekend too. In fact, he's had a really nice spell since he started the month of June, 1 for 19. Had that 4 for 4 with 2 extra base hits in the getaway day game in Washington. Had a pair of doubles in the win on Thursday. Had a hit in the win on Friday. 2 hits yesterday, including a home run. He's up to 10 on the year. And his slugging percentage is nudged up to 437. His on-base percentage is back on the good side of 300. It's at 312, which nothing to write home about, but improving. And encouraging to see a young hitter like Jensen pull his way out of a slump. And doing so while starting to catch more often. He's back in the lineup behind the plate again tonight when the Royals open their series against the Rays. And I think that is an interesting thing to note, that we have seen over the course of this month of June a lot more catching being done by Carter Jensen. I know he DH'd twice in 3 games over the weekend. But this will be the 13th time tonight that Jensen has caught, the 13th time in 18 games that Jensen has been the starting catcher for the Royals. And though this season has not gone the way any of us would have wanted, it is still exciting to see the seeds start to sprout for the future of the Royals, for the next really good Royals team. And those seeds are Carter Jensen and Jac Caglianone joining Bobby Witt Jr. and joining Michael Garcia as a core, as we talked about last week, a core that stands very favorably with any four-player core currently in the American League Central. Exciting to see those guys get going, especially after some difficulties they've had at varying times. And kind of amazing when you think about, for all the hand-wringing we did about this team's offense and batting with runners scoring position and all that good stuff, the real reason the Royals are buried, the real reason they sit where they sit, it's pitching. Here's a trivia question. Who has more wins above replacement this year, according to Baseball Reference? Bobby Witt Jr. or Royals pitchers total? It's a trick question. The answer is Royals pitchers, but not by much. Royals pitching this year, 4.5 wins above replacement as a staff. Bobby Witt Jr., 4.4 wins above replacement. And that's your season right there. That's your season. That's why things have gone so south. This team that we thought was built on a foundation of pitching that would be really strong just has not, unfortunately, been the case. But a good series win. Again, like I said, I hated that bunt yesterday so much. I said right away, I told my wife, I'm going to yell about that on the radio tomorrow. Just be prepared. I don't know why I told her to be prepared. She's not listening to the 3 o'clock hour. But I knew in the moment that was the thing. I knew before the game ended that was the thing I was going to be mad about because they were going to lose. I knew right then. But it was a good weekend. It was a series win, and they'll try and keep it rolling into Tampa Bay for a 4-game series against a Rays team that I'm still not convinced is actually good. I guess we'll see starting tonight. We'll see up close. Your reaction, 785-272-9429, and your YouTube live chat comments. Remember, your question of the day today. What was your good from the weekend? What was the best thing that happened to you or that you saw this weekend? I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you think. 785-272-9429 is the number. We'll be back with more 580 Sports Talk. We got Matt Verderame coming up later on this hour. We got a weekend recap. All kinds of fun stuff today with you until 5 in this edition of 580 Sports Talk. 580 Sports Talk on a Monday. Thanks for being with us. My name is Dan Lucero. 785-272-9429 is the text line. 580 Sports Talk, the YouTube chat, where you get gems like this one from the Bard, our pal Christopher in the YouTube chat. Bunting is useful to do, but not when you're trailing by 2 with a guy on the ropes. But a free out, you dopes. Your inning just turned into poo. Well done. Another strong effort from the Bard. He's been on a heater lately. Yeah, I'm telling you, and my wife could attest that watching that game yesterday afternoon, had it up. We were in the basement where I got the multiple TVs. My son's playing with his trucks, and I've got the Royals game on one screen. I got the U.S. Open on the other screen because it's Father's Day, and I'm going to watch the golf because that's what you do when you're a dad on Father's Day. Is you watch the golf, even if it's not a super compelling tournament, and it's a guy nobody wants to win who goes on and wins it. More about Wyndham Clark a little bit later on in the show. And as soon as they bunted, I said something to the effect like, "Why are they doing that? Why did you do that?" And I turned to my wife and said, I'm gonna be angry about that and yell about that on the radio when they lose this game tomorrow. And sure enough, 2 batters later, that was a ball game. That was bad stuff. Also in the live chat, it was also Christopher said, Jeffrey Allen Caglianone has officially become must-see TV. Yeah, man, it's that's a young hitter starting to collect the Infinity Stones, isn't it? Like, you can see it. You can just see he's a lot more comfortable at the plate. He's not over swinging. Every young player has that epiphany at some point in their career. And some guys, it takes a little bit. Some guys, they're just good right away. And that wasn't the case for Caglianone, to be real honest. It was not good last year. But you have that epiphany that arrives when you're a young player where you see them start to carry themselves in such a way that suggests, oh, yeah, hey, I'm good at this. I've been good at this at every level, and now this is the highest level, and I'm good here too. Watch me. Watch out. And I do wonder if some of Cag's comfort comes from playing first base, which is his most comfortable defensive position. I have long believed that the best thing that happened for, like, big picture here, it's really hard to learn how to hit big league pitching and learn a brand new position. Really, really hard to do that. It's not impossible, but it's really hard. Like Alex Gordon, right? We remember Alex Gordon had that position switch, but that mostly happened in the minor leagues where he went from being a third baseman to being an outfielder. And when that transformation was finally complete and they just left him at left field and said, all right, you're a left fielder now, go do it. Alex Gordon had the best single year of his big league career, 2011. And that's a testament to, it doesn't take for everybody. Like, Alex Gordon's really, really, really good player. Like, I think that trying to make MJ Melendez an outfielder ruined MJ Melendez. I will always believe that if they just let Melendez be the heir apparent behind the plate instead of saying, well, you're a good enough athlete, we need your bat in the lineup, Sal's still in catch every day mode, why don't you figure out right field? Oh, never mind, swerve. What about left field? And MJ never got good at either of them. And I think that affected him at the bat. I don't know if he'd ever admit it, but I think that affected him as a player. So it's hard. And I think it probably messed with Cags a little bit too, because he was brand new to that transition last year. But he's more comfortable in right field this year, and he's always going to be comfortable at first base. That's his natural position. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we're starting to see some of his best stuff at the plate. Man, that one he hit, his first one yesterday, I thought that was going to go off the bat. I thought that was head I-70. That was a tank. And Carter Jensen homered yesterday. That was Jensen's first off a lefty all season. So, we made a lot earlier in the year. Why can't they get Cags in the lineup against left-handed pitching. Well, he's starting to pay dividends there. And now Carter Jensen's starting to have some better results against lefties. Maybe that's because they never had such a compulsion to take him out of the lineup against lefties. Maybe that's why he's starting to show some of that growth now. But you can see the core starting to come together for the Royals. The Witt, Jr., Jensen, Jack. It's a lot of J's. That core of the Royals. I don't want to leave Michael Garcia out of it, too, because he's under contract for a long time. I think the hand injury is worse than anybody's letting on. That's why he's not hitting for any power this year. Like, I know that it's a good thing that he's not trying to hit 30 home runs, but a guy that hits the ball as hard as he does, typically only having 3 home runs on June 22nd, something's up with the hand. And I don't know what it was or how it happened, but that is limiting Garcia's effectiveness, potency at the plate. No doubt about it. But that's the group. That's the group that's going to lead the next really good Royals team. And they're all here. They're all under contract through 2030. It's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. In a lot of respects, that's the hard part for J.J. Piccolo, for the Royals brass. You got the stars. Now you got to go supplement the stars. How willing are you to do that? How willing are you to do that with the money? How able are you to do that, turning, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th round pick type guys into solid big leaguers? Even if they're not starters, guys who are floor raisers. That's going to be the question that defines the next couple of years of Royals baseball. Matt Verderame, our NFL insider, going to join us next here on 580 Sports Talk. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by our NFL insider here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt Verderame covers the league for Sports Illustrated and SI.com. You can also hear him on That Football Show on the KC Sports Network and check out his subscriber-only Patreon, The Matt Verderame Show. Matt, did you go to the Knicks parade?
No, I tried to. It was I'm home with the kids during the summer while my wife's actually doing a real job, and I couldn't pawn them off. It turned out was good because they shut the whole city down at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So that didn't work. But I did go down Saturday to celebrate with a college friend of mine who we've been watching the Knicks and chatting about him for 20 years, and probably had a few too many beverages, but fine. The NBA store benefited because I basically bought everything they had. So it worked out.
Listen, I understand. Even that post-championship clarity, you still see, your team wins their first in however many years. I wonder how many of our listeners bought 4 figures worth of Chiefs championship merch when they won Super Bowl 54.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. Matt, let's talk some football. Cameron Jordan's going back to the New Orleans Saints, which means he's not coming to Kansas City, which means that's an option, maybe the most appealing one on the board at edge for the Chiefs. Are still maybe in need of another body, another veteran that is off the board. Where do the Chiefs turn now? Or does it seem to you like they're going to wait until training camp and see who's out there and still waiting by the phone?
Yeah, look, I personally believe that they should be being more aggressive than they are. I think they should be more aggressive at receiver. I think they should be more aggressive at edge. They clearly do not feel that way. Now, maybe they're right. Maybe it turns out that we look back and we're sitting here having this conversation in October, November, and we're like, man, Chiefs knew what they were doing. They had the right stuff. They had the right guys. Like, I don't think that adding Cameron Jordan or Jadeveon Clowney is going to be the difference between winning 9 games and 14. Like that's just not reality. But it gives you a cushion. It gives you a safety net. There's an injury if the guy underperforms. Because right now at the edge rush, I mean, realistically, you've got Karlaftis, you know who he is. You're betting the farm on our Mason Thomas. Because if that guy's not good, you're the same group you had a year ago. Like, nothing has changed. It's Gelati and it's Jones on third down going outside, and you feel better about that because you've got better interior options. And I wonder if that's kind of the bet they're making here, is that they just feel like, look, we are so much better inside that it's going to make everything around them better. I mean, they were just such a black hole last year on the interior, except for Jones. So maybe that's the thought process. But yeah, look, it's a big bet because if they're wrong and Thomas isn't good, well, you are staring down the barrel of a very, very ugly edge position outside of Karlaftis.
So Jordan goes back to the Saints. There's been a little bit of buzz around the Saints as NFC South contenders, and even beyond the idea that somebody has to win that division at the end of the year. Are you buying the Saints as an improved team in that division?
I think I might be one of the people that picks them. I guess my reasoning is I don't believe in Carolina. I like Dave Canales. I think he's a good coach. Bryce Young is not good. Like, and I don't mean that in like I just genuinely, he's not good. He's not a good player. They have one weapon offensively that scares you at all, and the rest of that offense is just all right. Yeah, I guess like somebody's got to be out on the field. Tampa, it's just kind of like Tampa is the team. If just on paper you look at the best team, it feels like it's just kind of run its course at this point with the guys that are there. Baker, Todd Bowles. It just feels like we've kind of hit the ceiling. And then last year they got off to a hot start and came crashing down. Atlanta, I love this Stefanski hire. Who the heck's playing quarterback? Like I don't know who's playing. Neither one of them are really that good. And like, look, Shuck is an unproven guy to a large degree, but they won 4 of the last 5 at the end of the year. He played well. Kellen Moore did a nice job. They bring back Jordan. They brought in ETN. They added Jordan Tyson. He was we've talked a lot about him during the draft process. Great talent, but he's got to stay healthy. He stays healthy. That team's got a lot of guys on offense. That team could score some points. You know they've got a big home field advantage. You know they've got some guys on defense. Like, look, I don't love the Saints, but 8 to 9 wins is probably doing it in that division.
Matt Verderame is our NFL insider here on 580 Sports Talk, covers the league for Sports Illustrated and SI.com. Joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline here on 580 Sports Talk. Seems like we're going to get a supplemental draft for the first time in a handful of years. Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby deciding to drop his fight against the NCAA and look to enter the supplemental draft. Lots of difference of opinion out there when it comes to Sorsby's abilities. What do you think is realistic for a team to give up? Because to remind folks who may not know, if you make a selection in the supplemental draft, you are forfeiting the commensurate selection in next year's NFL draft. So if a team wanted to make Brendan Sorsby their first-round supplemental pick, they would forfeit their first-round pick in next year's draft. So
right.
How high do you think a team is going to be willing to go to get Sorsby? And for which team or teams do you think that it would make the most sense to take a chance, given the fact that it was a really kind of gross quarterback class that just went through the NFL draft process a couple months ago?
Yeah. And look, here's the interesting part of this. This is about next year's quarterback class, because you're going to have teams that go, I'm not giving up a first or a second round pick. Look at who's coming out next year, or who we think's coming out next year, right? So that's what hurts Sorsby. I don't know that many teams that would even consider giving up the top, 60 pick. Let's call it that, top 50 pick. I think that he makes the most sense as a mid-round pick. Let's call it fourth. I think it's somewhere in that ballpark. Could it be, give or take a round? But the thing that would concern me, and Connor Orr, my colleague at SI, wrote a column about this. And I thought Connor was spot on. We have identical opinions here. Him going to a team that we all associate as just being a disaster of an organization, the Jets, the Browns, teams like that. If he goes there, it's a train wreck. He has to go somewhere where he can develop, where there's infrastructure, where you have an organization that understands how to bring along a player. And, in that article, Connor used the Buccaneers as an example. I think that's a great example. I'd give you Minnesota as a team I'd look at and say that team makes sense. Someone like that, who you're not jamming this guy into, because whoever drafts him, look, the supplemental draft's against the line. Whoever drafts this kid, you can't play him this year. What are you going to do? Trot him out there for 6 weeks of camp? Here you go for it. I mean, so I think you're playing the long game with Sorsby, and I just think if you're a team doing that, you should be thinking, the Colts are another team like them. They should do it. Like a team that is like quarterback needing, like the Cardinals, that'd be insane. You just roll it out, you play the year, and then you say, all right, we're gonna have a top 5 pick. And we're going to get Arch Manning or Lenore Sellers or Dante Moore, whoever. But I think that's what makes this so interesting, is you just don't know who's going to take the plunge and where.
Do you think that the NFL will or should suspend Sorsby or be penal in some way towards Sorsby for the gambling issue that ended his college football career? That there should be some kind of punishment for having gambled on his own team while he played in college?
That's a really interesting and difficult question to answer, because I know that Terrell Pryor years ago came into the NFL in the supplemental draft. He went to the Raiders, and he was suspended for things that happened in college. That was 15 years ago. I don't know that the NFL look at that as precedent, as past being prologue. I don't know that that's true. What I would say is this. The NFL, of course, will never say this publicly. They've got to be horrified of this kid. I mean, there's just, look, gambling, games not being on the level, that is death in sports. It is death. Like, that is the worst thing that can happen to your sport. If fans don't think it's legitimate, you're done. And so there is a huge fear, I'm sure, on Park Avenue of this kid coming. Now, does that mean he's going to get suspended? I think if I had to lay down a real ironclad opinion, my guess is that he will get suspended, because they've done this in the past. So I always kind of err on the side of precedent. Some people in the league will tell you they don't think he's going to get suspended. Some do. I'll say that he does. I don't think it's a year or something. Maybe it's half the season. And maybe the NFL says, listen, penalizing this kid at this point does nobody any good. Let's set up parameters, get him into some kind of counseling, get him into gambling addiction forums, whatever we need to do. But, listen, it is a complicated issue, but it is an issue that scares the hell out of the NFL, and it ought to, because if this kid comes into the league and becomes a meaningful player, and it comes out 5 years down the road, he threw some game, or he did something that he wanted a wager and it affected the spread or something, that is as big of a problem as the NFL will have ever faced in the modern era.
Last question for Matt Verderame, our NFL insider from Sports Illustrated and SI.com, joining us here on 580 Sports Talk on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. Jeffrey Simmons got a big money contract extension from the Tennessee Titans towards the end of last week. I'll shrink the scope of the question. Is Simmons the most underrated defensive player in football? And I don't mean that he doesn't receive accolades, because he does. He's been to 4 Pro Bowls. He's been an All-Pro.
Right.
But just in the sense of his profile on a national level, because nobody outside of Nashville watches the Titans on purpose, is he the most underrated defensive player in the NFL?
Yeah, he probably is. And I think he kind of fits in that thing you were talking about him earlier, like Cam Jordan, who for years the Saints just haven't been that good. And he's kind of just labored in anonymity, but he's been a great player. Calais Campbell has been awesome for years. Dexter Lawrence was really good, even though he's in a big market with the Giants. Yeah, it's kind of been like, yeah, all right, yeah, sure, the Giants. Yes, I think Simmons has been a spectacular player for the better part of a decade, a Hall of Fame level player. And if you ask, I don't know, 100 NFL fans, hey, what is Jeffrey Simmons' number? I'd be willing to bet more than not couldn't give you the number as he plays.
Matt Verderame covers the National Football League for Sports Illustrated and SI.com. Catch his Patreon, the Matt Verderame Show. Catch him on That Football Show on the KC Sports Network. And catch him every Monday at this time right here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt, always a pleasure. We'll do it again next week.
It sounds good, guys. Take care.
That is Matt Verderame. Appreciate his time as always. We're going to take a break, come back with the good, the bad, the ugly from the weekend. But first, a word from my friends at Calhoun's Jewelers. And yes, they're my friends because they put a very nice ring on my finger and a very nice pair of rings that I put on my wife's finger. I'm a customer, so I can tell you that every customer is treated like an MVP at Calhoun's Jewelers. And there is something to satisfy every possible jewelry need. So go check them out and see what they have to offer. They will treat you like an MVP when you walk in the door at Calhoun's Jewelers. We'll take a time out, come back with that good, bad, ugly from the weekend of 580 Sports Talk. The good, the bad, and the ugly from the weekend that was. Remember, I want you to share your good from the weekend with me today. It's our question of the day. You can interact on the live chat on 580 Sports Talk on YouTube, or hit me up on the text line, 785-272-9429. I had a lot of good this weekend. Obviously, Father's Day on Sunday. It was also my wife's birthday yesterday. So we got to share the day with her, and nobody I'd rather share the Father's Day spotlight with than my wife on her birthday. But my good from the weekend is we actually got to get away from that sounds bad. Yeah, the good part of my week was not having to have my kid around for a couple of hours. But no, grandparents watched Asher, and my wife and I got to go on a little date, and we went putt-putt. And I've been putt-putt in a long time. I've been a go putt-putt in a really long time. And my wife is formidable competition. She was a state qualifier in golf in high school. And so we had it out. We had a couple of good competitive matches. And I won't say who won, but it was me. I won both. But we had a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed getting to do that, celebrate my wife and be celebrated a little bit this weekend. That was my good from the weekend. My bad, Stephen Kolek's outing yesterday. Really a damper on what was otherwise a good weekend for the Royals, good series for them against a Cardinals team that I kind of think has proven is in it for the long haul in the NL Central this year. A good series for them, but Stephen Kolek not so good yesterday. Always a bummer when you're down 7 runs in the bottom of the second inning. Credit to the Royals for hanging in, making it close, but that was disappointing. My ugly. The treatment of Wyndham Clark by the galleries at Shinnecock at the U.S. Open. And I get that Wyndham Clark is not exactly a sympathetic figure. I even get if people don't like him, to be honest with you. And I think it's always good for sports, any sport, to have a villain. But it's one thing to maybe root against a guy, but some of the stuff was pretty nasty and very not what you expect in golf directed at Wyndham Clark. And it made for a very weird major tournament atmosphere where everybody's rooting against the guy who's playing the best golf. And it was a bummer. It was a downer at Shinnecock this weekend as a result. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, we'll take your good from the weekend. Again, 785-272-9429 and the live chat on YouTube. We got to look back at the weekend that was. We got our countdown to Chiefs kickoff. We got what is wrong with you. We've also got, coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, just confirmed, our good friend, Highland Park and Washburn great, Mike Wilhoit is going to join the show because the Big Kev Give Back is coming back to the capital city this week. So we'll be talking to Mike Wilhoit coming up at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour to promote the Big Kev Give Back. Stay with us. That's one more hour, 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Hour number 2 and the final hour today of 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9. Online at 580WIBW.com, on your mobile device on the MSC Radio app, and streaming live on video on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Again, just one more hour of the program today. Royals baseball coming your way at 5 o'clock with pregame coverage from the Royals Baseball Network. A 5:40 first pitch from Tampa tonight. St. Petersburg, technically speaking. The Royals and the Tampa Bay Rays, first game of a 4-game series. Michael Wacha on the hill for Kansas City. Drew Rasmussen on the mound for the Rays. No Bobby Witt Jr. again in the lineup for the Royals. That'll be the third straight game, that he has missed after tweaking his knee on Thursday night, dealing with that grade 1 MCL sprain in his right knee. That'll be 4 days off for Bobby Witt Jr. without an IL stint, and the Royals do like to wait as long as they possibly can before putting anybody on the IL, even when it could benefit them. And so they appear to be doing the same with Bobby Witt Jr. So he is not in the lineup tonight. First pitch, again, at 5:40, so we'll be off at 5 o'clock for pregame coverage from the Royals Baseball Network. Still to come on this final hour of the show, we'll recap the sports weekend. Plenty of stuff to talk about today. We'll kind of turn it into a bit of a makeshift headline segment. We've also got another round of What Is Wrong With You. We start a brand new week. And we'll welcome on, in the bottom of this hour, Mike Wilhoit, the former Highland Park Scott, Washburn Ichabod, San Francisco 49er, and Seattle Seahawk, who once again, along with Kyle Weems, another former Highland Park Scott, is bringing the Big Kev Give Back to the capital city. This will be the 5th year of the Big Kev Give Back Sports Camp, teaching sports, mentorship, community, and opportunity. It is this Friday, June 26th, at the Washburn Indoor Athletic Facility for the youth in this community, ages 3rd grade through 8th grade. You can register online at bkgiveback.com. New to the camp this year is a mental performance and wellness night that will take place Thursday night, June 25th, at the Petro Allied Health Center at Washburn, 6 to 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, teaching mental skills, confidence, resilience, stress management, and life beyond sports. Students ages 12 and up, parents, coaches, and athletic staff are welcome. There's an admission charge. Dinner is included, and you can register for Wellness Night separately from registering for the sports camp. Again, at the website, bkgiveback.com. And Mike Wilhoit's going to fill us in on more of what's coming up this year at the camp with the Mental Performance and Wellness Night and more. We'll look forward to hearing from Mike. I think we might get Kyle Weems on the air as well. That's how it's always gone. We've gotten both Mike and Kyle on the phone at the same time. We're going to try to get them both on the horn, but at the very least, I can confirm that Mike Wilhoit will join us here on 580 Sports Talk about 25 minutes or so from now. You are invited and encouraged to weigh in on the program today. Want to hear from you. The text line is 785-272-9429. The live chat on YouTube as well. 580 Sports Talk, the name of the channel. Question of the day on the text line and in the chat. What was your good from the weekend? Told you my good was getting to have a date night with my wife. It was her birthday. It was Father's Day yesterday. So Saturday night, went out to dinner, went out and played putt-putt together. When was the last time you went putt-putting, Spencer Dupuis?
Yes, I'm here for those.
Yes, the disembodied voice of Spencer Dupuis.
Didn't see my chat in the.
Yes, if you're watching on YouTube, he's the disembodied voice of Spencer Dupuis.
Yeah,
we're still short of camera, but stay with us on that.
We're working on it. Things are in the works. The last time I went putt-putt, geez. I was at my last job, and we were down in Myrtle Beach covering high school baseball. They have a spring break tournament every year down there.
Oh, nice.
And it was a rained out day. It rained all night long, stopped at 9 a.m., but obviously
the fields weren't playable, but
playable, so we just had a day.
Nice.
So we went out and met some of the coaches and, had some lunch, and then after that we were like, what are we going to do?
I think there's a putt-putt course every 4 or 5 blocks in Myrtle Beach.
Yes. Yeah,
There was
like
so we
no
went,
joke.
Yeah, we went on vacation there as a family last summer, and there was literally a putt-putt course across the street from the entrance to our resort. Across the street. And just sitting there. It wasn't anything else, just 18 holes of putt-putt.
Yeah.
It might be the putt-putt capital of the world.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, but it was an interesting time when we were there because I just blew it. I tried too hard.
You tried too hard.
Yeah, I was trying too hard and I blew it. And then
geez.
yeah. Then we went to this like Pittsburgh Steelers themed bar there. It's pretty cool for dinner.
Doesn't surprise me that there would be such a thing.
Yeah.
The listeners in the live chat on YouTube, Vance says is good, doing nothing at all on Sunday except for going to mass, enjoying the Sunday. Mark H is good, seeing Mo Salah and Egypt win their first ever World Cup match. Mark H, he's a Liverpool guy like I am, so happy for Liverpool legend Mo Salah. Seeing victory in the World Cup. Christopher said his good for the weekend was Matt Strom threw a scoreless inning on Sunday. So, yeah, those have been few and far between. What was your good, Spencer? Did you have a good from the weekend?
I don't even know. I just think it was a relaxing weekend for me.
The weekend as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to get into new routines.
Okay.
And I went to the gym every day last week except for Friday. That was my off day.
Okay.
And I didn't want to go on Saturday, but I went.
Good for you.
So that's my good.
Were you getting what were we doing? Chest, legs?
We're just doing it all, a little bit at a time.
A little bit of everything.
We're trying to change up the routine,
Good
trying
for you,
to
man.
add in
That's
something.
awesome. That's
awesome.
awesome.
I said we're getting a restart, a refresh here at work. So I just feel renewed. I don't know why. But going local, it feels renewed. Like I just feel like I'm trying to like, oh, well, if that's restarted, then let me restart this in my life and start being better in life. I don't know. It's just
ton of respect for that.
It's more of the things are just different. So why not change things up elsewhere?
Absolutely. Man, absolutely. So we're going to get to some headlines here. But again, we do want to hear what your good from the weekend was from the 785. No family drama this weekend was my good. How about that? I appreciate that. That's always good, especially if you see your family a lot and they are prone to drama, which I don't know. I don't know that about our texter here. But if you see your family a lot and they are prone to drama and you don't have any on a weekend, that probably is great. I see a lot of my in-laws. My wife's family lives nearby. Her sister, brother-in-law, their two kids, and her mom and dad. And we saw them yesterday for Father's Day. We went to brunch. And it was great. It was great. Asher ran around the restaurant and didn't trip over anything or trip anyone because we had enough space where we were at that he could be a little silly, be a 2-year-old boy. And so, yeah, that was good. From the 913, good from the weekend was watching the college baseball with one game left in the season. We'll get to that a little bit in our makeshift headlines segment here that we're going to do today. A lot happened this weekend. I do want to get, though, to the big college sports story today.
Yeah.
Dusty May is leaving the national champion Michigan Wolverines for the NBA. Dusty May is finalizing a deal to become the next head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, which, what a 2 years it's been for the Dallas. Imagine being a Mavericks fan the last 2 years. You got Luka. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't have Luke anymore. But hey, you got Cooper Flagg and Kyrie Irving. Oh, no, you don't have Kyrie Irving because he's hurt. And you don't have Anthony Davis anymore because he got traded. And now, though, they fired the front office executives that made the Luka trade. You got some competent people in charge there. And now you got Dusty May.
I mean,
look, your new coach.
It's been a crazy, I think, like 3 years. I feel like this team, ever since Mark Cuban sold like the majority stake.
Yes, to the Adelsons. Yeah.
It's been like, well, what are they doing?
Well, they've got a much clearer future in place with Dusty May. I'll be honest, I was startled because, of course, May just led the Michigan Wolverines to the national championship this past year. Matt Norlander, though, of CBS Sports, got to call him up today, and Norlander had this, and I think CJ Moore had this too in some of their post-national championship reporting. Because CJ had the story where he
spent a day with him.
We walked from the arena after they won it all back to the hotel. spent like all that time with him during the Final Four itself.
Well, this comes after, I'm pretty sure he went down like years ago. He went to Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
And spent some time with him.
CJ has cultivated that relationship with Dusty May over a number of years. And he was able to kind of embed with the coaching staff, and had the anecdote that during the celebration, Dusty May is on his phone, like texting guys in the portal, and his assistant coaches are texting guys in the portal. And Matt Norlander shared a similar anecdote in some of his post-championship reporting, talking about how Dusty May said, basically, you don't have much time to enjoy this. It's back to the grind. Well, apparently that was always going to push Dusty May in this direction, because Matt Norlander has an article today at CBSSports.com. The headline is "Why Dusty May Leaving Michigan and College Basketball Behind in June Isn't Remotely Surprising." That he asked May on the record, but didn't use this, I guess. It must have been on the record because it's in this article. He says, "I remember how May stopped texting and looked up from his phone when I asked him, 'Do you think you'll be coaching Michigan in 3 or 4 years?' 'No,' he admitted. 'I can't see myself doing this for too much longer.'" And
wow,
that is why a college basketball coach at the pinnacle of college basketball would decide, now I'm going to give the NBA a go now. I'm gonna do the NBA thing now, and I don't want to hang in the college basketball space. And in that context, it's really hard to blame him. The fact that you have just won the national championship, you have just reached the top of the game, and you are spending the night of this accomplishment on your phone texting recruits because you can't lose your edge in the transfer portal. Otherwise, you can't build a winner next year. Like, I'm pretty sure Mike Brown has gotten to kind of chill the last week or so since the Knicks won the NBA championship. He's gotten to enjoy it a little bit. Like, I'm sure, like, they got the draft coming up. Like, I'm sure he's been in some meetings.
Well, I mean, too,
but it's different, right?
When you're a head coach of an NBA team, a lot of the stuff that the college coaches are now dealing with, still even with the GM and whatnot, is different than what a head coach of an NBA team is dealing with when it comes to the GM, because the coach in the NBA deals with nothing with money. At least I feel like in college, the head coach and the GM collaborate on, this is how much I want to spend on this tier of player. This is where I want our roster to be.
Yes, you're not doing recruiting in the NBA in the same way that you are doing recruiting. Like, you're involved in the roster building, but that's different than doing all of the roster building, which is your primary responsibility as a college coach. So Dusty May's had it with college basketball. And like, Dallas has some good young talent led by Cooper Flagg, the rookie of the year, who's legitimately excellent right away. And they're going to get Kyrie Irving back next year, so that they've got him coming to take some of the ball handling pressure off of Cooper Flagg, who's not actually a good ball handler, but that's neither here nor there. Fascinating. It'll be fascinating to watch. We know that the Western Conference in the NBA is so difficult and so hard to crack the upper echelon, but also the Mavericks have been an organization that has done it before. They've won an NBA championship. They were in the finals 3 years ago. So it could be done there in Dallas. And now Dusty May gets a chance to give it a try. But that was that floored me today. But now, you go back and you think about that anecdote from CJ's column, and now you read the quote from Matt Norlander today, and gosh, it makes all the sense in the world that he decide to step aside. A lot of sports going on the weekend. Of course, it was a NASCAR race at the Naval Base at Coronado. Corey Haim was your winner there. Driving on a part-time basis. I don't think he's going to be part-time a whole lot longer.
No, he's already. I'm pretty sure he's set to be their next driver.
Right. So. That
was a fun
all ending, of a sudden, that's looking like a strong team, that Jordan's team.
They also went.
They got Haim, and they got Tyler Reddick, and then their third best.
Bubba Wallace.
If their third best driver is Bubba Wallace, like, I'm no NASCAR expert, but like, Bubba's pretty good, right? Like, he's won some races. He can run up front. If he's your third best driver on a NASCAR team, you probably got a pretty good team.
They had 3 guys in the top 10 and nearly had 4 yesterday. That doesn't include Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, not even
the owner,
who's thinking about a different team. Owner. Right, yeah. Wild stuff. But that happened, obviously, on the track. in golf, Wyndham Clark, for a second time in 4 years, wins the U.S. Open. He was one of only 3 players to shoot under par for the entire weekend, and his 4-under score for the 4 days, good enough to beat Sam Burns by a shot at Shinnecock, much to the chagrin of everyone at Shinnecock. It was my ugly for the weekend in the 3 o'clock hour, the way that Clark was treated by the galleries. And I understand not liking a guy. That's fine. That's sports, right?
Because of what he did last year at the US Open?
This is the other thing. There are a lot of valid reasons. Like, pick one. There are a lot of reasons you might not like Wyndham Clark. He has some questionable Twitter likes in his past. He's got some questionable on and off course behavior. He tore up the clubhouse at Oakmont last year when he didn't make the cut for the U.S. Open. He threw a golf club last year at one of the majors, ended up throwing it right through a sign with his sponsor on it, T-Mobile. That was kind of awkward. He is generally like kind of can be awkward and off-putting in personal interaction. Like, there are very valid reasons. For me, he went to Valor Christian in Colorado, the preppy school that wins everything, the school the McCaffreys went to. So if you're from Colorado, like Clark is, he's a Valor kid. So there's another reason to not really like be the biggest Wyndham Clark fan in the world. And then from a golf perspective, everybody kind of feels like his major win in 2023 was kind of a fluke. Like, he was really fortunate that course was set up the way it was to where he could miss every fairway, but it didn't really matter. Kind of could bomb and gouge his way to victory a little bit. And he did some of that at Shinnecock, to be honest. He kept making great recovery shots out of rough-looking lies and 2-putting from everywhere, made some really difficult putts, made a huge 24-footer on 16 that sealed the tournament yesterday. So it's one thing not to like the guy. Valid reasons not to like the guy, even though it sounds like he's doing a lot of work like off the course on himself, so he doesn't have the blow-ups. It doesn't have the temper tantrums, the club throwing, things like that. He's still a young guy. I think he's still like 30-something. Still pretty young, so he's going to be around a long time. But some of the stuff the fans are yelling at him was just so bad, so out of line to do that to a professional golfer. Like, that's not golf. Like, you yell at somebody, you're going to choke. Like in a baseball game or a basketball game, that's one thing. But you can't do that in golf, man. That's not golf. So I hated that. I hated that for Wyndham Clark. By the end, I was honestly really impressed that he didn't play particularly well yesterday, and the entire gallery did not want him to win. They were rooting for his playing partner, Scotty Scheffler. They were rooting for Sam Burns, who almost tracked him down, ended up the second-place finisher by a stroke. But for Wyndham Clark to stare that in the face and win anyway and make that clutch putt on 16 and make par with a beautiful lag putt to set up his tap-in par for the win on 18, that showed me guts, man. That's what a major champion is made out of.
He's also got $4.5 million more just after that, and can wave that $4.5 million to the crowd.
That's true. That. Yes. If I had been booed all weekend and the consolation was I get $4.5 million in a shiny trophy, the booing wouldn't bother me so
exactly.
Bad. But
he had the last laugh when it all ended.
He certainly did. And you talk about a guy who's won 2 U.S. Opens. That's a small group that he joins. Not just 2 U.S. Open, 2 majors, period. How many great players of this era don't have multiple majors? Justin Rose only has 1 major. Jason Day's only got 1 major. Like, Hideki Matsuyama's only got 1 major. There's a lot of great players with only 1 major championship. Now he's got 2 in 4 years. 2 U.S. Opens in 4 years. And that puts you on track, as young as he is. He could end up being one of the all-time greats when all's said and done. And maybe he'll have won some crowds and some galleries over in the process. But it was also a really nice weekend to be from Kansas out there at Shinnecock Hills, as a pair of players with Kansas roots finished in the top 10. For Gary Woodland, his T7 was his best major finish since he won the U.S. Open in 2019. His 5th career top 10 at a major. His 4th top 10 this season moves him comfortably into the top 30 in the FedEx Cup point standings. The reason that's important, he sits at 22nd right now. And the reason that's important for Gary is because it puts him in a good position to advance certainly through to the second of the 3 FedEx Cup championship weekends. But the top 30 make it to the Tour Championship. And Gary Woodland's in a spot where right now he'd be in the Tour Championship. And it's been a tremendous comeback year for Gary, and it continues. He had a really good Thursday just like Wyndham Clark. Basically, he played with Wyndham on Thursday. And he and Wyndham Clark benefited from that 45 minutes where the wind stopped blowing.
Yeah.
And for Wyndham, that won him the tournament. For G-Dub, that got him a top 10. So congrats to the professional sports franchise at Topeka, Kansas for that.
I think, too, obviously we know a lot of stuff about the mental side with Gary Woodland. I think you see the two that he put up on Thursday and he closed it on Sunday. I think you use that in your head and it helps you obviously with Gary Woodland, who's had some struggles playing after everything's happened with him health-wise, that you use that 68 you shot on Sunday to push you forward, and the fact of where you are with you just mentioned in the standings.
He's having a great year. Sam Stevens, the Cape and Mount Carmel product, also T7 as well. His best career finish in a major. Tonight, we got Game 3 of the College World Series. North Carolina beating Oklahoma yesterday to push that series to its limit. Game 3 tonight at 6 o'clock. There's also more World Cup tonight. Let's get a quick World Cup roundup in, shall we? I think we shall.
Open wide for some soccer!
2 more goals for the GOAT, Leo Messi, this afternoon as Argentina beats Austria 2-0. Argentina has yet to concede at the World Cup, and they have 5 goals, and they're all from Leo Messi. France and Iraq just kicked off. I haven't seen a score in that one. They've been playing close to a half hour. Oh, looks like Kylian Mbappe has scored for France, and they lead 1-0. No big surprise there. Norway, Senegal, and Jordan, Algeria later on tonight. Rock Chalk, Algeria. I want to talk about the Iran-Belgium game because that game ended scoreless, but Iran had a goal called off. The video review system, the technology showed that Iran was offside. The goal scorer was in an offside position, and there's no polite way to say this. He simply had too much ass. He was offside by the width and the depth of his posterior. And I want to be completely honest with you. If my team had a goal disallowed at the World Cup because I had too much ass, I would not apologize for it. I would not feel obligated to apologize for my big juicy ass if, in fact, that was what cost us a goal at the World Cup. So shout out to that Iranian guy. May not have scored the goal, but he's got junk in the trunk, and that is forever. We'll take a timeout. We come back with What is Wrong with You on 580 Sports Talk. What is wrong with you time on 580 Sports Talk? We've got 2 news stories today to start a brand new week on the segment. Spencer, why don't you go first?
All right. I got to pull up my story here. During a post-game dispute between pickleball players, a Florida woman repeatedly struck a male victim in the head with her paddle, leaving him bloodied and with an injury to his face, according to investigators who charged the alleged assailant with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
Yeesh.
The incident happened at the end of May. It occurred in St. Augustine, Florida, a city about 40 miles from Jacksonville, at their pickleball courts, and it resulted in the filing of a felony case against Michelle Bannister, a 47-year-old nurse. According to court records, during one doubles game that Sunday, a dispute arose between players about the retrieval of a ball. Upon completion of the match, Ron Bennett, 50, went to speak with the defendant's son regarding the critique of his playing style.
I went to go tell him he was trash.
Yeah. Bennett, who was a regular at the park, is a devoted pickleball player and a member of the Facebook group St. Augustine Pickleball. So he's hardcore pickleball.
Clearly.
Police say that during the course of the beef between Bennett and her son Bannister, injected herself in the argument, then struck the victim in the head several times with a pickleball paddle, leaving injury to his face that caused several cuts and a large amount of blood. When cops responded to the courts, Bannister allegedly provided them with a fake name, Ayana Lee. Bannister is a licensed nurse practitioner who lives 2 miles from the place. When questioned by the police, she claimed she was defending her son. However, officers reported there did not appear, based on a victim and witness statements, to be an imminent threat to life, limb, or propensity of violence about to occur.
So she was defending her son against the allegations that he sucked at pickleball.
Yes.
Which I understand. Tiger Mom or something to that effect. Hit him several times. Those paddles, they're not like giving those. I don't know much about paddleball or pickleball. I don't even know what it's called. But
she was named in a felony charging her. She got aggravated battery and then she also was charged with providing cops with a false name. She was freed on an $8,000 bond. She's scheduled for a pretrial hearing in circuit court at the end of July.
Yeah, people take that pickleball way too serious.
She gave a fake name. Just give your real name.
People take that pickleball way too serious. And adding another unnecessary charge on top of it. You don't give the police a fake name if you think you were in the right.
Look, there's information about her background and whatever. She got a master's degree. She served in the Marine Corps as a helicopter mechanic. She seems to be smart. Why would you give the police a fake name?
Because you were acting up. That man did not deserve those paddles. That man did not deserve to have his face pickled in that way. For my story, we're going to South Los Angeles, California. And the writer of this story had a lot of creative license with this, and I don't want to necessarily read the whole thing. But so outside of a California Highway Patrol office, a Mercedes sedan was doing some donuts, laying down some smoke on a Saturday afternoon. A California Highway Patrol South LA sergeant made contact with the driver, who offered the explanation that he was trying to impress his female passenger by doing some donuts, and that he did not realize that the location he had chosen for his display of automotive prowess happened to be right in front of a California Highway Patrol office.
Do you not read the sign on the window or see the cruisers in the area?
Probably not, because he was drunk. Field sobriety test followed and the driver failed. So he was placed under arrest, and his Mercedes was impounded for 30 days under California's exhibition of speed statutes. Those charges in California carry real consequences: fines, license points, and vehicle impoundment. So guy has a cool car, wants to show it off. Hey, I don't know if they were on assume they were on a date, maybe a Hinge or a Bumble or a Tinder date. Check out this ride. See what this car can do. I'm going to do some donuts. I'm going to show it off. Also, I'm an excellent driver. Also, I've had a few tonight. This looks like a good place to show off how awesome my car is. This seems like a good spot for it. Right in front of the California Highway Patrol office. So, I think we have 2 good stories today.
Yeah.
We got one. A texter from the 785 refers to as "pickle me silly," which is very funny. And then we got the guy doing donuts.
Officer, but I wasn't eating the donuts. That's a line from the text line.
God, this is tough. A tough one today.
Yeah.
I kind of came in thinking mine was going to win. But yours, very strong entry, a fight over some damn pickleball.
And it was because the guy was saying that the other guy was ass at pickleball.
Yeah, basically walked up on him and said, "Hey, your technique is lacking.
I'm a pro pickleballer, 50 years old. Let me tell you what to do."
Yeah, you got to get better. You got to step your pickleball game up if you want to be on these courts. And kid's mom stepped in with the paddle to the face repeatedly. At the same time, a guy was drunk driving and doing donuts trying to impress a date. Is that impressive?
No.
Like, I'm trying to think, the woman you have been with in a long-term relationship, the woman I am married to, would not have been the least impressed. My wife would not have been the least impressed by some donuts. Doing donuts. Look at this. Woo! Woo! We're going to make it smoke. You're going to burn out. What are these people, 17?
Also, I thought this was in a parking lot. No, this was in the street.
Yeah.
There's a video from CHP.
In the street in front of, not like a big abandoned parking lot. In the street in front of the California Highway Patrol.
I think that just wins for stupidity because, like, man, I could see doing donuts in a parking lot trying to, I got this nice Mercedes. Let me show you what it could do.
Donuts,
but man, you're in the middle of the street.
In the middle of the street, right across from. I mean, they're watching you on their cameras. Oh, that's loud. Wonder what that is.
Oh, we got an idiot on the road.
I think it's going to be too easy, right?
Yeah.
Drunken Donuts. That's our winner on What Is Wrong With You, advancing to tomorrow. When we come back, Big Mike Wilhoit joins us to help promote the Big Kev Give Back, coming back for a 5th year to the capital city for the kids. That's next on 580 Sports Talk. .439 on 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you. For the 5th year, the Big Kev Give Back Sports Camp is coming back to Topeka for youth athletes from the 3rd through the 8th grade. It's coming up this Friday, June 26th at the Washburn Indoor Athletic Facility. And for the first time this year, the Big Kev Give Back Camp weekend includes a mental performance and wellness night. Tell us all about the event. The founders of the Big Kev Give Back join us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. Both standouts in their respective sports at Highland Park High School. Michael Wilhoit and Kyle Weems join us. Michael, Kyle, thanks so much for being with us once again to tell us about the Big Kev Give Back.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
So, again,
much appreciated, Dan.
Yes, we appreciate having you guys on, and I know this community has shown a lot of love to the Big Kev Give Back. Can you guys believe you've been doing this for 5 years?
No, not at all.
Pretty impressive to have started something and for it to have grown to the level that it has grown to. And for those who may be not familiar with the story of Big Kev, the inspiration for this event, how inspirational was Big Kev to you both, and how much of his spirit is in this event that you guys have been able to put on every year since 2022?
I'll go before Kyle. You know, Big Kev was everything to us. He was my best friend. He was my mentor. He was a leader. He taught me the simplest things about life to the most complex things about life. And to bring honor to his name, to honor his wishes, to be able to remember him, speak about him, and bring his name to the light and what he stood for means more to me than I can say. To piggyback off of that, just my dad was just always in the community. He was always about local up and coming stars, kids that had potential. He would always go check them out, whether it was middle school basketball, middle school football games, kids from around the area that were playing out at Scabba or Dornwood, and then obviously all the immediate high school sports. So he was always in the community, and he always told us, once obviously Mike was able to make his dream and go play in the NFL, and myself to go play overseas abroad, he just always had this vision for us to you guys have to come back somehow, some way, make time and come back. These kids need you. Your community needs you. They need to see people that have accomplished their dreams and know that it's possible. Like you got to do it. So we didn't want to, drag our feet with that anymore. We know sometimes life can get hectic and pull you in a bunch of different ways, especially when you start involving families and wives and kids. But that's one thing that once he passed, we came up with the idea to honor him in that way. And it's been a blessing to see this thing kind of grow and evolve over the last couple of years.
And its growth continues this year. We're talking to Michael Wilhoit and Kyle Weems ahead of this Friday's Big Kev Give Back Sports Camp this Friday. Once again, bkgiveback.com, the name of the website. The event grows this year with the addition of the Mental Performance and Wellness Night coming this Thursday to the Petro Allied Health Center at Washburn University. Students ages 12 and up and parents, coaches, and athletics staff are welcome to register for Wellness Night. That's a separate registration to the sports camp itself. What brought upon the idea to include a mental performance and wellness aspect of the sports camp that you guys had been putting on for the last 4 years before this?
Well, over the past year, I've been doing a lot of studying mental performance, therapy, mental wellness myself, and just learning about it. And I just felt like this was pivotal, and this is something that everybody should be talking about, should be learning about, should be experiencing. It was something I felt like this is too valuable to keep to myself. This is information that everybody needs to know. And I felt like, why wouldn't we add this to what we do with the camp? And again, I've said it over and over again, we stress so much of lifting weights and running and agilities and jumping, but we don't stress the mind. We don't stress how important that is. And it don't matter how high you jump and how fast you run, how many weights you lift, if your mind ain't right. The mind has got to be right. And for me, I'll say truly, I learned mental toughness when I was playing for the 49ers, and I'm playing next to Patrick Willis and NaVarro Bowman, two of the best inside linebackers of our era, my era. And when these guys would have 16 tackles, 2 TFLs, a forced fumble interception, it's easy to see that stat sheet and pat yourself on the back and get excited. In the next game, you got 2 tackles. But it was like these guys never did that. And that's when I learned truly what mental toughness is. It's having success and not getting excited or changing, but it's remaining stoic, it's remaining present, and then repeating the same success week in and week out. And that's when I learned what mental toughness is. And it's just those experiences and the learning I've been doing, the experiences I've had that have led me to want to share with the rest of the community.
How does that translate for the younger athlete that maybe doesn't have necessarily the pressures of performing on the Sunday stage or on the professional stage, but there are still other pressures that come with playing even youth sports, high school sports, college sports, if you have the opportunity? How can you make your message or hope to make your message translate to younger athletes, youth coaches, parents who can help their kids along in their sports journeys and their mental performance journeys? How will that translate for the audience?
Well, for sure, it'll be a collaborative and informative at the same time type of deal. So we obviously want to hear from the kids themselves, but some of the things that we'll try and focus on is just the next play mentality, whether it's a great play, whether it was a bad play, in whatever sport or whatever activity you're doing. You can't dwell on something and be too high when you do something well. And you also want to be even keel and not be too low when you make a mistake. So just being able to knowing how to deal with success, knowing how to deal with failures, that it's all part of the plan, and just kind of keeping that even keel, and then being able to, kind of voice that if you are having a bad day and being able to grow from it.
Our guests are Michael Wilhoit and Kyle Weems, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline, previewing this week's Big Kev Give Back Camp Weekend. Again, bkgiveback.com is where you can register. The Mental Performance and Wellness Night is Thursday night, open to students ages 12 and up, parents, coaches, and athletic staff. And then there's registration for the sports camp itself. That'll be a Friday day-long event, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Washburn Indoor Athletic Facility for your athlete from 3rd to 8th grade. And skill level, current sports they're participating in, that's kind of immaterial to being a part of this camp. You're learning skills, and you're also just learning to have fun and make sports and fitness kind of a lifelong journey. Am I right?
Yes, sir. No, for sure. It's funny. We used to serve pizza the first year we ever did it. And then we came back together and we said, man, we want to change that, because just like you said, it's a lifelong journey. We want to preach health and fitness. And it's hard to say that when we're serving pizza, right? We want to, we don't want to speak out of both sides of our mouth. We want our message to be clear and concise. And it is exactly what you said. It's not only technique-driven fundamentals of the sport, right, from professionals and from high-caliber teachers, all the way down to what are we eating, what are we putting in our body, and then what are we feeding our mind, right? What are we ingesting in terms of positive self-talk, who our people are that are teaching us and talking to us. And so we bring in the best people that we can, the most positive people can. We create a loving atmosphere, a joyful place to learn, and then we teach all the way down to the fundamentals and to the technique of the game.
A lot of this for you both is born of a love of this city, a love of Topeka, and a desire to give back to the place that raised you, the place that you love. Even just since the onset of the Big Kev Give Back Camp, we have seen countless success stories from this city in the sports world. You turn on TV, there's Gary Woodland contending at a major tournament in golf. There's Jac Caglianone, one of the most renowned college softball players of all time, also from Topeka. And there are countless other stories and names I could reel off. But that desire to give back and show that from a place like this, great things are possible in sports and beyond. How important is that aspect of it to show the youngsters, the youth of this community, to dream big and to aspire to big things, because big things are possible here in the capital city?
I think it's 1,000%. It means everything. That is the deal. That is the thing. And when you talk about, the best way to show someone is by giving your time. It's not just about, giving money or putting this on, and you put a camp on and you show up for the first hour, and then maybe you're around, maybe you're not, then you take some pictures and sign autographs. Like, no, we want to be 100% hands-on. We want the kids to hear directly from us about the fundamentals, or directly from us if they're having a bad day or if they're doing a drill wrong. Like, we want to be that voice to them, to let them know, everything's okay, and also that, go reach your dreams. So by being physically present, I think that there's no better way than to give back when you talk about having a camp or a mental performance night. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier. That was my dad's vision, for us to come back and let us, be seen by these young kids that, are dreaming to kind of be in places that we've been blessed enough to touch. So that wasn't a thing for Mike and I growing up. We didn't see any professional basketball or NFL players that came back and did camps. We were blessed with the camps that we were able to be a part of, but we want to be able to give that to our community for as long as we're on this earth.
Last thing for you guys, Michael Wilhoit and Kyle Weems promoting the Big Kev Give Back Camp weekend coming this Thursday and Friday here to the capital city. And I'll give the information one more time before we're through here. But for those who want to lend their support to this cause, who appreciate what it is that you do for the youth of Topeka here, appreciate what you want to do for this cause, and want to contribute in some form or fashion, what are some ways that people can do that?
They can reach out via my social media at KJW3434. That's on pretty much all platforms. That's LinkedIn, that's Instagram, that's Twitter. Also, you can reach out to our website, both for our foundation and the Big Kev Give Back. The Big Kev Give Back website is, as you mentioned before, www.bkgiveback.com. Also, our foundation website is www.communityunitefoundation.com. You can ask questions, you can volunteer through that, and someone will reach back out to you. Or if you would like to simply donate, all proceeds go to our foundation for our future initiatives. So any of those, but mainly social media, we're pretty active on there every day. Myself, also with our director, DJ Johnson, who's been running our Community Unite Foundation Instagram page. But please feel free to reach out, whether it's, with your time or if you'd like to make a small contribution, but all hands on deck, and we're always open for new help.
Michael Wilhoit and Kyle Weems, absolute legends in this city, and the founders of the Big Kev Give Back Sports Camp. Again, for more information, go to bkgiveback.com. Gentlemen, always a pleasure to catch up with you. And I am looking forward to, I think it'll be the 11th or the 12th edition of this event when my son, my 2-year-old, will be old enough to get out there and learn some things from you guys. So thanks for what you do for this city. Appreciate you guys coming on today.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate you, Dan.
You bet. Thanks so much. Michael Wilhoit and Kyle Weems. Again, that is bkgiveback.com. The sports camp on Friday for children, boys and girls, 3rd through the 8th grade. The mental performance and wellness night, Thursday night, for students ages 12 and up, and parents, coaches, and athletic staff. Go get signed up and be a part of this great event, bkgiveback.com. We'll take one more time out. We'll come back. We'll put an early wrap on this edition of 580 Sports Talk before Royals baseball after this. Yeah, we're wrapping up early today on account of Royals baseball, so it's already time for the final word. Spencer Dupuis, what you got?
Final word for me, the NFL today announced the official dates for all teams returning for training camp and when the dates are and everything. They also announced the official joint practices that are scheduled to happen this year. And once again, the Chiefs not on the list. And I get Andy Reid's not a big fan of joint practices, but man, I think it'd be very beneficial because guess what his team doesn't do? We'll play our starters for the first half, and they go out and play 10 plays, maybe a drive, like one drive, right? That's typically what Andy Reid does. I think it'd be very beneficial for the players to go and play against starters in a practice because like I know my Commanders typically do it with the Ravens when they have them on the preseason schedule, and seeing guys play against one another is big. But then guess what? They really don't play in the preseason game, so I'd like to see it in practice. But hey, I'm not Andy Reid.
Final word for me. We got to sneak it in here in the final word today. Our countdown to Chiefs kickoff. We're 84 days from kickoff for the Chiefs in the 2026 season. Number 84 is tight end John Michael Gyllenborg, the Rockhurst High School product, who played his college football at Wyoming. Chiefs haven't really addressed tight end in the draft the last couple of years. Jared Wiley was a draft pick 3 years ago, or 3 drafts ago anyway, last 2 drafts. Chiefs have left that position alone, tried to find a diamond in the rough in the UDFA route. Jake Briningstool stuck on the practice squad last year. Maybe this year Gyllenborg is that piece for the Chiefs. They continue to slow play the succession plan for the all-time great they've had at tight end, Travis Kelce. Again, that'll do it for us. We're done early today and the next 2 days after this for Royals baseball in Tampa Bay. First pitch at 5:40. We're back tomorrow from 3 until 5. For Spencer Dupuis, I'm Dan Lucero, and this was 580 Sports Talk. Good night.